What is up, my chain smokers? Daddy's back with his cigarettes. As an unemployed person, I've been reading a lot lately, and out of the many books I've picked up, the ones I've by far found the most enjoyment in are the works of Tomohiko Morimi. For the uninformed, Tomohiko Morimi's most popular work is the Tatami Galaxy, or the Japanese title translated to English, the 4.5 Tatami Mythical Chronicles. I assume it's supposed to sound like the title of a Japanese literary classic or something. The Tatami Galaxy is well known for its anime adaptation by Masaki Yuasa, who you may know from Adventure Time. But as much as I'd love to talk about the Tatami Galaxy or really every single one of Morimi's works, we only have so much time, so we're going to talk about my favorite one. If Tatami Galaxy were milk, this shit would be condensed milk. It's sweet and full of energy and it tastes fucking good. I know that's not a very good metaphor because milk ages and I don't think Tatami Galaxy ever will, but the point is the night is short walk on Yell is everything I loved about the Tatami Galaxy squeezed into 1 hour and 30 minutes. The sugar coming in the form of breakneck pacing. The pacing is so fast in fact you'll probably have a hard time recalling the events of the movie the next day, but what you will be left with is the feeling it conveys. How exactly does the movie get away with this? With so many anime being adapted from manga, it's quite rare to see shows that deviate from their source material to get their point across. And why should they? The hard work has already been done for them. Manga is a visual medium, so if we just redraw this panel to a 16:9 aspect ratio, add some mouth flaps and send it off, we can call it a day and go get shit-faced in Shinjuku or whatever fuck anime producers do. So, stop that. This shit is a disservice to the medium of animation. Motion and color aren't just there to make things look cool. No, these things add a whole new dimension to conveying the story, and I think this is something that Yuasa understands more than anyone else. That's why I sometimes find myself drawn more towards anime originals. These are works that were specifically made for the medium of animation and not just reiterations of some work in its intended form for the sake of not having to exert the effort of reading. I didn't actually realize how big of a role the visuals played in The Night is Short Walk on Girl until I read the original book. In the book, our male protagonist, who I will call Senpai, observes our heroine, who I will call Otome, doing what is described as a bipedal robot dance. In line with the tradition of Tatami Galaxy, neither of our protagonists have actual names. Now, how would one go about animating this vague description? Isn't the platonic ideal of a robot already bipedal? This also doesn't have much narrative significance aside from being a quirk of Otome's. But here we have Yuasa's depiction. It looks goofy as hell, but she shows no concern for the people around her. She moves as if unable to control herself, like a magnet driven towards flashing signs and alcohol. Something else I forgot to mention. The sound. A fucking train. A steam engine unable to be stopped by a single man lest they be run over. And how long did that take? 7 seconds. In 7 seconds we have a sense for the heart of Otome. I will say, the original work actually provides a lot more clarity than the movie. This is no thanks to the extremely fast-paced dialogue. Being able to read the story at my own pace felt as if I went from 480p to 1080. So, is this to say the original novel is superior? It's more complicated than that. If you for some reason were told you could only consume one of these or your wife and children would be killed, yes, I would recommend the book. But the most likely scenario as to why this is actually the case is because you're a busy person who eats their dinner for breakfast or something. So in that case, I'd probably recommend the movie. But if you do have the time, which you likely do, evident by the fact that you are watching this video, may I recommend both, because the two complement each other, like drinking and driving. The book gives you time to appreciate details that you would probably miss, such as the way she stares so intently at her plate of snails at the start of the movie, along with there being extra details. The reason there's an eye in the storm is because that is actually the god of cold mentioned in a single line by Otome. The eccentric king is called the crackpot of Monte Cristo. He definitely isn't called that in Japanese. Oh, and not to mention the parts of the story that deviate completely from the anime, such as the inclusion of Higuchi teaching Senpai how to fly and an elephant butt. Though I'll leave that for you to find if you so wish. In other words, knowing all the extra details will likely make you appreciate the movie more, while having the images of Yuasa's adaptation to go along with the book will make you appreciate the book more. So it's a win-win either way. But back to the anime, because as I said, we only have so much time on our hands. The Night is Short Walk on Girl. It's an odd title considering the night seems to go on forever. The night is literally extended by the presence of Otome. So wouldn't a more accurate title be The Night is Long Walk on Girl? Well, it's not literally you autistic little thing. Morimi stated in an interview that the story was inspired by the lyrics of an old Japanese song called Gondola no Uta, which can be heard playing in this scene. Life is short, fall in love, young girl. I couldn't help but think that was a more fitting title. But that's if you only take into consideration the relationship between our two main characters. No, the movie is much more than that. It's the sleazy old man who lost his fish to a tornado and the other old man who has legendary bootleg alcohol that tastes better than the original. The god of used books, club-running guerrilla theatre plays, and so much more. As we walk, regardless of how thorny or scenic the path is, we will inevitably meet people. We'll get into pointless arguments with some of them, steal the pants of others, and maybe we'll fall in love. Life is short, so live. But what if I can't talk to people? What if I can't live? What if I can't walk on? Our main character is faced with this exact problem. Bedridden with a nasty cold, he quite literally cannot walk on. Yes, this anime explores the age-old question of how to cure male loneliness. If your first answer was a girlfriend, you, my friend, are a shallow person. No, we must cure loneliness without discriminating between genders. 6'11", by the way. The Night is Short Walk On Girl does not so much as answer this question, but give some comfort to those who may be struggling. Even if your connection to others comes in the form of giving people your colds or inappropriate thoughts, you're still walking forward nonetheless. So be more shameless. Hold your head high. There'll be times where it's hard to walk. That's okay. If it's meant to be, your chance will come, whether you like it or not. But don't worry too much if you haven't found it yet. After all, we're all connected by the multicolored strings of fate.
何かのご縁